Hello, welcome, welcome,
Hello.
welcome. When I was meditating this morning, I got an idea of what I want to do with you today. So I'm just going to roll right into that. It's very exciting. I wanted to first start with you creating welcoming gestures. So, welcoming to me is one of the most wonderful things that we can do. So, I want to just invite you into, so like for me, when I say, welcome in, that has this kind of, it's a love scoop. So, I think of welcoming as a kind of love scoop. And I want you to just create, and if you're willing to stand up, move around a little, create some welcoming, like, come on in, all of the different things that you're feeling, all of the different things that's going on inside you, what you're noticing around you, just okay, welcome. Because we spend so much of our time going, ooh, no, not that. Oh, I can take this, but ooh, not that. And what if you just welcomed all of it? Just welcome it in. And when you're welcoming, I'd like you just notice, do you let that land? And how do you let welcoming land? And so I'd like you to welcome any feelings, like emotions that have been going on. And usually this time of year has a whole bunch of different feelings. And so some of them you may be wanting to go like this. What if you just welcomed them and you kind of snuggled them? Like, okay, I know this is going on, but we can include this too. There's plenty of space for everything. And if you notice yourself when I'm inviting you, if you're feeling yourself going a little, you got some fighty stuff going on. So I want you to add some oozing into your love scoops. So, how can you do an oozy love scoop? I like to also include welcoming the back of me because the whole idea of having your back. So, welcoming, that any kind of fighty stuff. And if you're going like, oh, they're doing weird stuff on this call, and you find yourself like wanting to go, take yourself off video, you're fleeing. So let yourself add some rooting to your scoops. So you're welcoming and rooting. So I'm bringing up some energy and just feeling that coming up from the earth through my legs. Adding that, it's making my welcoming have more of a circular feeling, like I want to also include my legs, welcoming my legs. And if I'm asking you to welcome and you found yourself like going, oh, is she talking to me? And that's a little freeze. So you can add a little wiggle into your welcoming. And notice which one of those feels most delightful to you. So, welcoming, really important to let it land. You're welcoming. And how does it land for you? How do you know that you feel welcomed? What do you experience that lets you know that you feel welcomed? And notice too that you can do little mini welcomes. It doesn't have to be a big old hunky welcome. It can be a tiny little welcome. You can just welcome, like feeling any tension in your body. You can welcome that, with wiggly, oozy, rooting. And we've done that for a few minutes. So I want you to just pause and notice your overall sense of well-being. Ah. So for me, as I was doing that, I experienced just more and more of experiencing that I'm here. Ah, here I am. And I really have experienced and want you to try on that love really is being able to be with. So being able to face, being able to be with. One of my favorite images for being with is to be sitting next to, imagining I'm sitting next to someone on a porch swing that I really love. And I have one that I really love that has a wonderful rhythm to it. And I'm just sitting there next to something and being with. And so I want to invite you to create that sense of porch swing in you. You can do that with your breathing, that breathing in and out easily on the porch swing. And I want you to invite something to come and be next to you. It could be something that's been feeling gritchy or uh, during this last period of time. Just welcome that to sit next to you on your own personal swing and just be with that and notice that you can be with whatever's arising for you. Like, I don't want to be with that. And I know that's a stupid idea. Or I would be with it if it would be with me. And just notice all of that and letting yourself be with that rhythm of being on the porch swing. And you can invite welcoming into being on the porch swing. So however you want to welcome, I like to do little kind of when I'm next to somebody who's being a little grumpy, I sometimes I'll nudge them a little bit, I kind of do a little shoulder nudge, like, come on, come on. And then they go, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and I just nudge them a little more. So you can include nudging, a little love nudge with your welcoming. When we add movement and breath, we're adding our whole body wisdom. And we think that if we just think, we can think our way into welcoming. But moving and breathing actually makes it much easier. So I also want you to welcome any feelings you have, oh, this is silly. I could just never do this, like out in public. And I want you to use that as a kind of criteria. If you'd be willing to do welcoming and wiggling in the grocery store, or in the meeting of the city council in your local town, that lets you know that you have freedom of how you want to respond in life. So we got nudging, we've got welcoming, we've got sometimes Gay has been specializing lately in making funny sounds because it just delights me. He makes these funny sounds. Like when I'll say, hey, would you like to have something for lunch? He'll go, it's sort of like the old man curmudgeon sounds. And so because I just love it. He's kind of making fun of all that. So I want you to include any grumpy sounds that you have and welcoming those like your own kind of, humbug. And how can you welcome that as well? So I really want to invite you, especially during this holiday season, to think of love scoops as really a way of welcoming. And I want to show you another kind of welcoming, because the other thing that came up for me was my cat, Greta. Because when she is absolutely convinced that she's lovable, she has no question in any cell of her body that she's lovable. And so when she wants attention, she comes up and she does this, she sort of extends her paw like, I'm coming now. And then she just comes and she's absolutely persistent. She will literally climb up on me and put her face in my face, like, okay, I'm ready to receive your love now. And I want you to try on inside you the possibility of being completely convinced of your lovability. And if there's somebody, someone, excuse me, a young child or an animal in your life, when you look at them and you just know, they know they're lovable. And I want you to let yourself osmose that. So just think of them, or if you have them around, you can look at them, or a picture of somebody that you know knows they're lovable, and seeing if you'd be willing to just take that and bring it over you. So I want you to scoop up that sense of lovability, and I want you to slather it on you. I want you to be real messy with it. So you're getting it, you're giving yourself a love mask, you're getting it all over you. You're giving yourself a love mud bath because you're just so completely lovable. It doesn't matter what you look like. Ah, and what if you were willing to walk around in the world completely convinced down to your bones that you're totally lovable? And when something comes up and goes, oh, no, you're not, remember that thing that you did in junior high? And then you can just welcome that into you. Like, yeah, that happened. So that sense of lovability, if you were just willing to let that be possible, that you're completely lovable, just try that on for a moment and then imagine how you would be moving through the world. Imagine how you might be moving through this day, what you might be choosing if you absolutely knew that you were completely lovable and that you were willing to welcome whatever is coming. So when I welcome it, how much time we spend resisting what is, and what's coming at us, like, oh no, this should not be happening. This is not what I signed up for. Of one of our, some of you I'm sure probably heard this, but one of my favorites is from many years ago. One of our workshop participants said, I didn't reincarnate for this shit. So if you're any doubt that you have of your lovability is something to be welcomed and to be included. And you can add the other aspects of the fear melters into welcoming love scoops. So as I'm just feeling into what we've done so far today, I already feel, for me, I feel lighter. I feel more expanded to the sides of me. I feel more of an ease rather than a jaggedy. So for me, the symptoms of dis-ease often start with a little bit of rant. There's just a little rant. And if I give my attention to that when it arises, it's always fear. It's always some aspect of fear. And that if I welcome that, then it gives me the information like, oh, you didn't make that communication. Oh, you needed to rest a little bit more and you didn't like, it will give me information that is useful in welcoming my complete lovability. So we have this sense of, I just keep going and going and going. I don't know where I'm going, but when I get there, it's going to be better than it is here, rather than, oh, okay, here's what's arising, welcoming that. So this is the season, a lot of people call this the season of giving. So a lot of us, and particularly I'm sure those of you who are on this call are more used to going this way with your giving. Oh yes, of course. I can see this. I respond to this because I know that love is what connects us all, and we're more used to giving. So that's why I want you this week, especially, we're in Hanukkah and we've got Christmas coming, and we have all kinds of Kwanzaa and all kinds of celebrations, which are about giving. So I want you to fill up your storage areas. So where in you would you most like to store some love? Yeah, so that you could call on it anytime. Any place that you've got, like I was just saying, up under my collarbones, I hardly ever think of storing anything here. So there's lots of space right up here. So you could store it in your armpits. Whoever stores anything in their armpits, we're always trying to get rid of stuff. So find some place where you can just store some love in you so that anytime you're feeling, you can just draw on that. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to now pull up our presence, connect, play, and see what we've got for today. Ooh, for presence, it says explore the 4 pillars of integrity. And what I get from that and what I experience with the 4 pillars is anytime I make an integrity move, it gives me more of a felt experience of my wholeness. It's not about improving anything or changing anything. It's really about recognizing that integrity is about alignment and a felt experience of wholeness. So, for those of you who may not know, I know we have some new people on here, and welcome to you. That if you go to the Foundation for Conscious Living.org, there's a whole section on the integrity cards, and you will see, if you don't have those, you'll see a whole bunch of them that you could just choose from and go, oh, okay, what integrity move could I be practicing today or this week? And oh, connect is yes, and add an appreciation. So almost always when we're connecting with somebody and they offer us something, we go, no, or just wait, or I didn't like that, or could you say that a different way? But what if when someone is connecting with you, you received it with yes, this is your communication. Yes, I received that. And then what you send back is an appreciation. So just imagine somebody with whom you might do that today, that you might practice receiving whatever's coming at you and return an appreciation. And then, oh, play. Sometimes people don't understand this particular one. It says, go in the direction of flow. Go flow, go with flow. And I think there's one of the commercial people whose name is Flow. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about FLOW, go with. So just take a moment to imagine how much of your life is about going against, getting your energy from being against. You know, somebody says something, and almost always somebody say, well, but did you think about how bad this is? Or someone will say, oh, this is changing, but this isn't. So what if, or you're feeling tense and you go, oh, how can I get out of this? So the play is to go with. And one of the best ways to do that is to do what you're doing a little bit more. So just notice something that's going on in you right now, a thought or a movement or a breath, and let yourself go with it. How could you go with that in some way? You know, you could add a thought of, yeah, this is what's happening. And I'm having the thought that I don't like it. And this is what is happening. It could be something in your body where you feel your breath stops when you think of that particular thing. And you could let your breath stop a little bit more and then see how your breath wants to open. So one of the real keys to having a life and creating a life that's thriving and full of creativity and connection is to go with. And with this applies also with other people. So if someone says to you, oh, I've been feeling really sad, and you say, oh, well, if you just take a few big breaths, that'll go away. Instead of going, oh, you're feeling sad, how can you support others to go with? And that's where the welcoming comes in and the fear melters come in. So I love how all of this is kind of weaving itself together. So I want to invite you during this holiday time to first of all welcome for you, and then all of the other skills that you can use. So take a moment now. I also want to invite all of us to do just a little love welcoming, scooping direction of Michelle, who's having a little medical procedure today. And so I'd like to just give her some loving attention. It's nothing serious, just one of those things that we older people need to do from time to time. So just sending her love and appreciation for all of, this, all of these years of supporting what we're up to. I also want to give thanks to Darlene for being on the call today and helping us all get organized. And also want to just have you take a moment to just look at other people on the call and doing a little welcoming, like, oh, hello, hello, I see you. We can do our harmonoids, my very favorite from Kurt Vonnegut, where you say, here I am, and somebody else says, I'm so glad. So that's really the shortcut to everything. Here I am, I'm so glad. So here you are, I'm so glad. Here I am, I'm so glad. Ah, so I'm going to take my leave now, and you're totally welcome to keep loving each other up for another few minutes, and plan to see you next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.